Hey there, welcome to 4-Minute Friday, and this week's sales tip will help you get your customers to buy, and maybe more importantly, to buy from you. And as always, these 4-Minute Fridays are based on something that's happened typically during the previous week. And this week I was training Juniper Networks, and it was just part of a conversation and a story that was shared during those conversations that I thought I'd share with you to really help you understand the importance of the tactic that I want to cover with you today. Now, if you haven't joined me before, my name is Brian Conway, and this is 4-Minute Friday, where I take a few minutes on a Friday to share with you something that will help you close more business. So back to the story. So this week, as I said, talking about the selling of technology, and people were talking about certain products and services that they sell. And I said, well, listen, you've got to remember, nobody buys your products for what they do. And they all sort of kind of looked at me a little bit, and I said, no, trust me, nobody buys your products for what they do. They buy them for what they do for their business or for them personally, depending on what you sell. Now, I had a colleague on the call with me, and he went on to tell a story. He said, when in his selling career, and it was about 30 years ago, and he said he remembers this moment as if it was yesterday, because it was such a moment of sort of clarity in his own understanding of why customers buy and therefore how to sell. And he was in a meeting room. He was presenting his product and service, and the IT buyer was at the end of this. He said it was a U-shaped table, and the IT buyer was sat right in front of him at the end of the table with a couple of his kind of team members around him. And Ken, a friend of mine, he was presenting away and talking about what they have to offer. And he said the IT director said, right, stop there. You can turn those PowerPoints off. I'm not interested. So Ken was kind of a bit taken aback by that. He said, listen, I don't want you to talk about you. I want you to talk about me. He said, when you finish talking about me, he said, then you can talk about you. But I want you to talk about you with regards to what you can do for me. Okay, and that is the point. Nobody buys technology for what it does. They buy it for what it does for them. Nobody buys any product or service for what it does. It's what it does for them, or in this instance, what it does for their business. And you've always got to remember that. Always remember to join the dots, connect what you've got, what it does, but more importantly, what it will deliver, that measurable value that it will deliver to your clients. And that is so fundamental, but something that's missed by a lot of salespeople, particularly people who sell products or services, because they focus on telling everybody how great their product or service is. And as that guy said, nobody's interested unless you can articulate what it does for me as the buyer. All right, and that's it for this week. I want to leave you. It's such an important consideration that's all I'm going to talk about in this week's 4-Minute Friday. So always think about what your product service does for your customer and talk about that, not just feature and functionality. All right, so thanks for your time. Please do like, share, comment, all the usual stuff. Always appreciated. Subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, etc. And obviously then you'll get notification of every time I release a new tip. And all I can say now is have a great weekend, and more importantly, a great week of selling ahead of you, aligning what you've got with what it'll do for your customers. Take care. Bye-bye.